Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. A bit of a narrow range here heading into the RTH Open. If we drop this back down to a one-day ADR here, you'll see the developing day right now is very narrow, just 35% of ADR here heading into the RTH Open. 23 points. It's been averaging a bit more than that here for the day, 60 plus points on a day. We do have a potential headline risk or volatility inducing event here later on this morning, 11:40 a.m. Central. Fed Chair Powell speaks. That could provide quite a bit of volatility here. You see that this is the test at the previous quarter's high right here, and you had 2 days that went through that level. Both days became squat bars, and we've since pulled back a bit. We still see an uptrending Pima trigger zone. Bulls attempting to keep that area bid for a continuation, but this is about the point here where a failure could happen that could rotate prices back down. 4,100 is the level that we mentioned yesterday to keep an eye on. It was able to hold that zone, but a break through that area opens up quite a bit of weakness that could take us back to 3960 and perhaps even all the way across the range back toward 3800. The last time we were up near this zone similarly was about right in here, and it could look very similar here where it's kind of held, and then we start to see the breakdown here that occurs that could ultimately lead to a rotation back across the range. So if it starts to happen, it's through 4100. That could open up quite a bit of weakness back down the range. Again, 11:40 a.m. Central Time, we get Fed Chair Powell, and that could provide some directional conviction. We take a look here at the NQ. Similar price action here, uptrending price action, very bullish. Price continues to hold above the bullish Pima trigger zone, which means bulls will try to defend the pullback for another rotation up. We're currently above the previous quarter's high price right now, watching the 12.4 level. A failure at 12.4 starts to open up a rotation that could take us back toward 11.5, which is the previous month's midpoint. Very bullish overall right now. One thing that is something to keep an eye on is the 200-day moving average right here. Price had been below the 200-day moving average. Now it has pushed beyond it. Any pullback to that level to retest it right here, currently at 12K. If bulls are able to defend that zone, we could start a positive march north of the 200-day moving average. A failure back below it rotates you again back down to previous lows. So 12.4 going to be very important here, and a retest back toward 12K, if it happens, will be very important as well. Take a look here at crude oil. This one's up right now about 1.5%. Very strong rejection in the previous session. One of the things we were watching here before was this narrow 9-day range. Mentioned it had about 8 to 10 handles of potential range that could be seen out of this once expansion occurs. And from this high to this low, we got about 10 handles of range. 10.3, I believe, is that range. So a big time move down to the edge. Perfect amount of energy released right to the lower boundary. Yesterday we did see a strong rejection develop, and that rejection lasted into the end of the day. Very solid extreme reversal development there. We're still trending down here in the near term, but that was very similar to what happened last time before it squeezed back up. So 72, big time support right now. If bears are able to defend the rip and push this thing back down, we could be looking at a 70 move up ahead. Right now, this market continuing to honor 72 support. Taking a look here at gold futures. Gold, big time pullback here in gold. Still hasn't found a strong low just yet. So we've gotten a big hard 2-day pullback, kind of held the previous day. Here we have an inside day developing, kind of a rest after battle pattern, but no strong low. Perhaps this thing can break to the upside and give us a bounce, but if we can get ourselves a good strong low to pivot from, that provides us a potential key range to work back toward that midpoint, and now we may see some development within that range. So after such a hard pullback here, you want to find a strong low. Once that strong low is found, we could be snapping back to the midpoint of that range and develop a new key range at these highs. Right now, inside day developing. Lastly, taking a look here at the YM. The YM still stuck in the range. Not a whole lot of participation. If you look at the YM here, this one's currently down below the previous session's midpoint, has been trending down for the last week, and is kind of mostly sideways in a compression range here over the last couple of weeks. Meanwhile, the NQ is well beyond the previous quarter's high price. So quite a stark contrast here between the YM and tech, or even the YM and the S&P 500. This thing continues to compress in a way that is building significant energy. We've looked at this thing on a weekly chart basis. It's building energy that could take us easily over 4,500 points of range once we start to see a breakout occur. So again, still building energy here is the YM. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this develops heading into Fed Chair Powell at 11:40 a.m. Central Time. Take care, and I'll see you in the trader.